Hello, welcome to the Citrus Garden. If you're new here, my name is Christina. If you're not new here, hi, welcome back. It's great to see you. This is a general collective reading. There are no signs attached to it, so use your discernment with these sorts of messages. It may or may not be for you. So let's get started. There was a song coming through. It's called Starseed by Our Lady Peace. So that term Starseed is relatively new to me. I would say like maybe the last 2 years. It's something that I sort of stumbled into, and then it just sort of like disappeared. Like I just didn't like follow up with it or anything like that. It's not something that I actively how to say this? It's not something that I actively like label as myself. But anyways, that might be something for you. There's also something interesting about that, like that song and the synchronicity of that song. Because it is it's not a recent song, I don't think. But in the last like 2 weeks, I've heard it twice on the radio, which is significant to me. Like if that kind of thing happens, like usually that's significant. So I heard it again today on the radio, which was interesting. So maybe that's a song that you want to take a look at. Starseed by Our Lady Peace. But anyways, we're just gonna get into the reading. So what is your overall energy? Oh, the nurturer, number 4. I deserve to feel nurtured because I give care to those I cherish. So you are nurturing others and also receiving nurturing as well. It's really lovely. Okay, what's the energy of someone that you may be... Someone who may be around you? Interesting. So you have 3. The loner. I enjoy being alone and getting in touch with my true feelings. The communicator. I remember that my words can have multiple meanings. And the improviser. I effortlessly adapt to deal with unexpected circumstances. So maybe there's, I don't know if this is one person or 3. And then at the bottom of the deck, you have the creator. So we'll get more cards on that. I'm going to flip them the other way though. The loner, the communicator, and the improviser. Somebody who's, excuse me, somebody who's perhaps a bit of a loner, by choice maybe, who's communicating. The improviser's interesting. Effortlessly adapt to deal with unexpected circumstances. Right, so being flexible with some sort of unexpected circumstance. I remember that my words have multiple meanings. I do feel like this person is reaching out in some way, like communicating. Okay, your energy is caution. Yeah, that's wise, I think. The loner, communication, and improviser. sadness. So this person is alone because they are sad. Intuition with the communicator. Is this one person? And why do I keep stumbling on that word? Communicator. And the sweetness card, improviser. Bottom of the deck, you have balance. Okay, so there may be 3 different energies here. Perhaps there are 3 different like energies that are surrounding you. Because with the nurturer card, there's sort of like 3, perhaps these are like 3 individuals, or just like, I don't know, 3 types of energies that you may be dealing with. Okay, it's not this deck. And it's significant for some reason. We'll see why. Mystical moments. Feeling an energy of caution. Okay, so your energy is the Knight of Pentacles. So it feels like you are steadily working on something. And perhaps there are energies sort of appearing on your path is how it's coming through. So these could be people that you will be meeting. Perhaps you already know them though. You have here the High Priestess. That one is an energy of caution for me, the High Priestess. Like, use your intuition about this. The Nine of Pentacles. Interesting. So the Nine of Pentacles is coming out under the Loner. So somebody who's very independent, but I feel like is perhaps dealing with some sadness. Very abundant, but perhaps there is sadness. Page of Wands. This card to me talks about taking a closer look at what is being presented to you. With the Page of Wands coming out underneath intuition, it is talking about like energy, like looking at the energy rather than what is being presented to you. The Communicator card could have to do with like what is being said. I don't feel that this is a negative energy, but there is a caution. Like you're in an energy of caution. Being cautious about something. And the King of Swords. King of Swords coming out underneath the sweetness. That's really interesting. Because I would not, the King of Swords is not somebody that it's not a personality that I would call sweet. They have a clear vision though, or they have some sort of clarity, and with the improviser are very good at sort of like being flexible with whatever circumstances around them is kind of how it's coming through. So you have here the Six of Wands. I really love this card because it talks to me about, so it is success, right? Like overcoming something. It also is kind of coming through with the hummingbird as being like finding something that nourishes you. Perhaps it is with the sweetness energy. Because this pink card is sort of the one that's standing out. If this is like 3 different energies, it does feel like that one's standing out to me, the improviser. A King of Swords who is sweet. There's something here as well about like knowing where to find nourishment as well. Perhaps also having to do with like recharging your battery in some way. Or like, where you find nourishment, where you find, could have to do with sweetness in some way. Okay, and you have the Knight of Swords as well that came out. So all of this like forward momentum, right? It's like you're moving forward with something. All this forward momentum. But then the High Priestess is sort of like perhaps telling you to be cautious about something. Four of Pentacles and the Page of Swords. Okay, so the Four of Pentacles to me talks about like someone who perhaps does not allow people to get close to them, right? With the loner energy. They prefer to be alone, perhaps. I don't know if this is one person or 3 different energies. And with the page, because you have the Page of Wands and the Page of Swords coming out underneath the intuition. But it's page energy. Is this one person or 3 different? It feels like 3 different energies. It feels kind of like with this page energy, the communicator, they're coming out with intuition and 2 page energy. So it kind of feels like they're like just starting to explore some aspect of their intuition, right? With the 2 pages. Because with sort of like this because with children, right? Like when children are young, they can their intuition is very sharp, but perhaps they don't know exactly what it is that they're receiving. It's kind of just like they just say something that's like extremely truthful, but perhaps they don't know that that's what they're expressing, or that, so it's kind of coming through like that. I feel like it's not a child though. It's coming through though as that their intuition is at like a beginning stage where it's like they may be receiving things, but they don't know that they are, is how it's coming through. Like they just like, it just kind of feels like it's an observational kind of intuition, if that makes sense. So that's sort of one, it feels like three different energies. So first one is sort of like one who is very independent, who appears on the surface like a lot of things are going right, but they don't allow people to get close to them, perhaps because of sadness in whatever way. The second one is they have a very sort of like pure intuition that they communicate, right? So through their words. They could have Gemini somewhere in their chart, but it doesn't have to be. There's also something interesting, like it's like not knowing why that they, I don't know why I'm getting caught on this one. This one has this energy is like, because I can't like move past this one for some reason. Ten of Wands. Okay. So maybe because this one is like, perhaps they are sort of younger than you in whatever way that is. Like, doesn't have to be though. That there is some sort of like, with the Ten of Wands, it's kind of like, especially if it's somebody that you feel that you could, especially with like, you know, when if you're like out in public, for example, and you meet someone who is also a little bit strange or a little bit like a starseed, you perhaps think that they might be also a starseed. It's kind of just like, how do I interact with this person? It's kind of feeling like that. It's kind of like it's kind of like, do I like bring up the strangeness? Like it's that kind of energy. I feel like that's why there's a caution. It's kind of just like, this one feels like they might have some sort of intuition. It might be at the page stage though, where it's kind of like they just receive things but they don't know that they're doing it. And it's kind of like, just be cautious with that, because it's coming out the Ten of Wands. It's like, it might not be your responsibility to teach them, is how it's coming through. That's why I'm getting stuck on it. It's like, what maybe there's an energy here of like, okay, I don't know how to deal with this situation. Okay. Next energy, the improviser, sweetness, King of Swords. A very sweet King of Swords. Six of Swords. maybe this is an energy here with the Six of Swords, because I see this as being sort of like finding some place to rest here, like some place where you can sort of like ground something, especially because your energy is coming out here with the Six of Swords, Knight of Swords, or Six of Wands, Knight of Swords, where it's kind of like airborne, right? Like perhaps you're trying to find something to ground an energy in some way, and these are all your options, is kind of how it's coming through. You have a loner, communicator, and improviser. And it's like, so it feels like with the intuition one, or the communicator, that one might be sort of like the not necessarily the logical choice, but maybe you are seeing it as like, because that person perhaps has like some sort of pure form of intuition, it's like, do I, is that the thing that I've been waiting, like, it's that kind of energy. I feel like, though, because it's coming out the Ten of Wands, it's like, if you're going to take that on, it's going to be more responsibility on you, because it's double page energy and you're in the Knight, so you would be carrying more responsibility perhaps than you need to, is how that's coming through for that energy. And then for the improviser, the sweetness card, sweet but a little sharp. That's how it's going through, in a good way, obviously. That's a positive thing. It's like sweet and spicy. That's how it's going through. Six of Swords and Five of Wands. Sometimes this Five of Wands talks to me about like reorganizing something, because it is coming through with like this chessboard and checkerboard kind of energy. It's like, perhaps there is something about perhaps strategy with the King of Swords. Interesting, though, that they're coming out as the improviser. They can improvise, though. It's like they have strategy, but they can also improvise. Sometimes this talks about reorganization. Did I say that already? Or like trying to figure out how different pieces sort of would fit together. Because I sometimes see this as like rearranging furniture in a house, where it's like you want to get all of the right sort of elements in place. You want to make sure that there's a flow within the environment. So that could take strategy. So perhaps this person here has that sort of ability to like plan, but also improvise. They're sweet, but they're also a little sharp. It's coming out with sweet, though, because I feel like with the Six of Wands, it's like there's nectar in that. In I don't know. Because it's also coming out with the chessboard, right? It's like, I know chess is a very serious game, but it is still a game, right? If that makes sense. It's a serious game, but it's still a game. It's still meant to sort of be fun. I know that it can be stressful, right? But I feel like that's not something that, like, chess is not really something that you would necessarily pick up unless you were super passionate about it, right? It's the kind of coming through like that. it's something that you would not do unless you were really, really passionate about it. That's how it's coming through with that. So maybe this person shares a passion of yours, or they have like, and it's also like kind of like with the chess energy, like how, I don't want to use the word opponent or anything like that, because of my Aries moon. Sometimes that could come through as being a bit with the Five of Wands, a bit competitive, but but in how I see that in myself is that I'm the only person that I'm actually trying to beat is myself. Like, I'm only ever trying to like be better than a previous version of myself. So it's kind of like perhaps that person would challenge you in that way, that they would challenge you to be a better version of yourself so you can improve on something that perhaps you've been wanting to improve on, or like it does kind of come through as like a mentor vibe, but in like it's both student and teacher, because when the person you're playing in chess, unless this person is somebody that you're learning from, but it feels more like you would be playing against them so that both of you can sort of elevate, is kind of how it's coming through. So if this is not resonating for you, then this is not your reading. Like, it's kind of coming through as like this would be somebody who would challenge you in a way so that both of you could improve. It's not something where it's like they're trying to outsmart you, or they're trying to like out strategize you, or to like whatever. It feels like they would want both of you to sort of be an equal match, if that makes sense, in terms of whatever it is that you are trying to ground here with the Six of Swords. And perhaps they also need some sort of energy to be on the other side of the chess table, if that makes sense. Yeah, the Lover's card. It feels like a harmonious match, because you have Six of Wands, Six of Swords, and the Lovers, which is 6 again. That number has been coming up so much with the Libra reading as well. I think it started there. And then Page of Cups at the bottom of the deck. So it feels like it would be a match, is how this is coming through. There's so many different meanings. Like you would be an equal match to them in terms of like whatever energy, perhaps. But it would also be like a really good chess match, you know? Like, it feels like that. That's just a metaphor, right? So whatever it is that you're passionate about, that like brings you joy, that you do for fun, but that is also very rewarding to you, and perhaps stimulating in whatever way intellectually, perhaps. It doesn't have to be that. But it does feel like a shared passion, or like mutual respect for one another. It's like sometimes one person's going to, again, I don't want to use those words such as like win or lose, because it's not that. It feels more like, because it's oh my gosh, it's not a competition. It's a game. So it's coming through as fun. But that would also be like challenging and stimulating. I feel that as well, that it's also going to help you to ground something that perhaps you've been needing to ground is how it's coming through. Like, because of all these sort of like, it's been sort of like an idea that's been floating around, or it's just been sort of like with the Knight of Swords, perhaps a long journey, or an idea that hasn't had physical substance is how it's coming through. Interesting though that it feels kind of like in order to get to that person, the improviser, whoever they are, in order to get there, you have to go through the other two first, is kind of how it's coming through. It's kind of like they're standing in between you and the chess partner. That's how it's coming through. So that might be where the caution is. It's kind of like being aware that their energies may feel similar is kind of how it's feeling. It does feel like 3 different people though, but it's kind of like, or 3 different energies or whatever. It could be even groups of people for you. Just take it how it resonates. It feels kind of like that there are 2 or there are just like obstacles in the path. You may be getting stuck on one of them. Okay, now I was gonna pull a card from that deck, but it wants to be a different one. So just an overall energy to close off this reading. Home, Earth. That's really lovely. 'Cause didn't I start this reading talking about star seeds? It's trying to make the Earth home, right? That's sort of how I see starseed energy. It's like trying to create home. A home. Trying to create a home. Or perhaps Earth is something that you're working with. This card is also very nurturing as well. Interesting though that it's coming out like that, because I feel like this is your energy, the home Earth, and it's kind of like the first energy here with the 9 of Pentacles. Kind of looks like that, but their energy is sadness. And the light sun. Okay, this card it talks to me about, again, it's a number 6 as well, which is so interesting. And then you have 15, which also adds to 6, right? Perhaps this is a past life soulmate of yours. But the sunlight card, or perhaps they're a starseed of the same whatever it is. I'm not familiar with the terminology. Perhaps they are from the same star as you. Anyway, so this one talks to me about sort of like the perfect alignment of events in order to like experience something that's like almost magical. Is how I see this card. Like it perhaps is just like a perfect alignment of events. So it is feeling like divine timing here. I feel like that's my dog confirming that. it's just kind of coming through as being like, just be aware of the other energies that might be in the mix. So I'm going to leave it there. If this reading resonated with you, please like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you for sharing your energy with me, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.